Hello everyone, just wanted to come on here and show you a little bit about record keeping and show you what some of the things that I do. Right now I'm sitting on my recliner. I'm not really ready to go anywhere. I'm just kind of finding time to myself to go over some things. You can see I have a 3-ring binder, and you can see that I have some pages in this 3-ring binder, and I have it all divided out. This is January of 2026. So right now we just started April, and so you can see that I don't have anything really beyond January. And so each one of these yellow sheets I have a tab that says the month. And so I just want to share with you guys what I'm doing. And I'm putting these items that I've been keeping into the correct month. So like, for instance, I took my car for a car wash, and it was in the month of February. So I want to make sure that this goes into February. This right here is a receipt from Campaign Mailer. This is a receipt that you can print off on your own if you are using the Campaign Mailer site. You don't have to use it. You can see I paid $56, and I no longer have that credit card, so you're welcome to wonder why I am showing this information. Actually, I had to change my credit card. So anyway, this is a company that if you want them to mail your brochures, they will do that for you. Okay. This item right here, I take at the end of every month. I go to my my Avon site, and I go to where I would make my payment, and I would go down and select a time frame. It's kind of like printing off your bank statement, except you can select the dates. And so you can see over on this side, charges, credits, and balance. And you can see that these are all transactions that happened from Avon. And I'll just show you a couple things on here. So each shipping and handling fee is going to be charged to you when you make an order. Anytime you make a credit card payment, that's going to be credited to your balance. So I made a $300 credit card payment. This was the shipping fee. Okay. The reason it was $14 is because it was a bigger order. Sometimes you have to do returns. So I had a damaged item. So, and then there's any credit you have for missing products. Now this doesn't happen very often, and I'm just showing this one because it's on here, and it was sort of a freak occurrence, but you can process these returns very easily, and sometimes you don't even have to send the product back because it is more of a hassle for the company to receive it and process it. So they just sometimes will tell you to discard it. And so in that kind of a situation, you would not have to pay for a return shipping fee. So that's a wonderful thing. So you can see something here, obviously campaign for order. That when I put that through was at my cost, and I can't read it very well. So that campaign for order is $259.44. And what that is a total of the cost, which is your price as a representative, plus the sales tax. that you were charged, which is based on the prices online for the customer. So what I usually do is I write two numbers on this line. I will like tell myself my price that I had for cost and then the price of the sales tax. So this is the sum of those two numbers. And I do that so that I can make sure I know how much sales tax I'm being charged, and I know how much sales tax total I'm being charged throughout the year. And I'm also going to know how much sales tax I'm charging other people. And that gets a little bit interesting because you can't claim sales tax as income. And so it cancels out. It's kind of like you're taking that sales tax and reimbursing it to the state. And so it shows that you're legally taking it and you're paying it back. So, but we'll talk about that another day. I do want to tell you about this word true up. When you have your orders go through, you're going to look at that total of your orders and see a percentage of commission based on that amount. Let's say you want to put in a second order for a campaign. That's typically not a great thing to do when you're first starting out. You want to maximize your sales at one time, so you're only paying one shipping fee. But in the event that you're paying more than one and you end up adding another order to your campaign, you may cross over into another bracket of commissions. Anytime that this happens, you will see the word true up, and they will credit your account for whatever you had beforehand, and they'll say, okay, now what you made 20% on before, you're going to make 30% on now. So we're going to make sure that all that other stuff we just gave you 20% on, you're getting 30% of it now. So that true up amount is like a nice little extra bonus for you. And you can see that this says DIRDEL. That means direct delivery. It means that my direct delivery order customers, which would be my online shoppers that were having their items delivered directly to their home or wherever they wanted, that amount is being what is changed, what is giving me the little bonus. Sometimes you will see, let me see if there's one over here. There isn't one. But sometimes you will see in place of DIRDEL, you'll see personal true up, personal delivery true up, I think is what it says. And so they will break that down into two different numbers so that you know where you're making your money. So that's helpful. You can see that a campaign 4 order is here on the 11th, and less than 14 days later in the campaign, I placed an additional order, which was up on the 24th. And this is also a campaign 4 order. But if it's not the first campaign order, they put in regular additional order. All right, so I just explained that. All right, what else do we have? So that would go in my February section of my binder. What do we have here? Okay, this is the return that I did one of the returns. This is a receipt you can print off, and it gives you instructions on what to do. And in this particular situation, it was Sweet Honesty antiperspirant roll-on deodorant, and they charged me for it and it was missing. And so they needed to credit me for what was missing. And they gave me the total of $3.94 on the printout right here. But before I printed it, it actually told me the breakdown of the product and the tax. So what I do is I write it on the page, and I give myself 2 of these. I print 2 of these so that I can have it for my main binder, and I can have it for another binder, which I have that helps me break down my products, my demos, my brochures, my bags, you know, that sort of thing. And so that way I know the expenses on that end. And you can see this is called a packing list. Right here, packing list. And you can see right here, items to be discarded. Of course, I can't return them if they're missing. So they have to put that in there, right? So let's move on to this right here. This is a pretty crazy one. This has never happened in 13 years that I have been selling. I don't know why this all happened, but I had to process this return in February. And it says here, items to be discarded, all this stuff right here. Some of it was missing. You can see one item. There were 8 damaged antiperspirants of Sweet Honesty right here, damaged across the top. There were 8 of them, a quantity, and they wanted me to discard them. So I didn't have to pay any shipping on that return. But I did keep, like I said, the record of the product cost that they were going to give me back and the product tax, which they were going to give me back. And that number would get transferred into a chart, which I'll show you another time. Okay. Another campaign mailer bill. This time I only paid $2.80. That was nice. That was in March. They don't put the dates on these, so I have to write them in. And then right here, when I bought my binder from, is this Amazon? No, this was Walmart. You know, I wanted to make sure that I printed off this so that I could see what I bought, and I can write that off as office supplies. Let's see here. All right, I bought label holders. Since I do events, I bought these little label holders from Temu. And so I printed that off. Temu does a really nice job of helping you keep it clear on what you're buying. They actually have this really nice receipt page. Unfortunately, Walmart does not. This had to be a screenshot. I often buy things from Amazon as well. And I don't know what this is. Oh, I bought some shrink wrap. So I printed that off. I buy shrink wrap because I transport stuff and I don't want it to be falling apart. I bought some little baskets for my my pegboards. $13.30. That was from Temu. So all these items I get to write off. So any money that you make, oh, here was a cool one. I bought one of those shelves. Here's the price I paid, $22.67. That's a pretty good deal for that shelf. Just can't overload it, unfortunately. I put deodorants on it. That seems to be okay. This is another Temu for, I don't know what this is. Oh, this is my credit card. So I bought a bunch of different stuff on this one. And you can see that I crossed out everything that isn't considered business, like my air fryer baskets. Yeah, you're not going to write that off. But you can see that I bought some self-adhesive wire labels that is used for the business. Okay. And then this is what I was doing for Sally's Bazaar. I sent this into a picture and I posted it, and you guys can see that I keep track of all of each day's cash tax, anything I get on the cards, and what I pay in card tax, and things like that. And I get this all from my Square invoice, or my Square app. It's super easy. If anybody has any questions about that, I can help you. This is a cash receipt that I received for, I paid $200 for 1 week. And that seems like a really expensive amount of money, but it's really not, considering it was for an entire week. And this is another month. This is my March statement. I always go a couple days beyond March and a couple days before March so that I can make sure I capture anything that didn't go onto. Sometimes there's glitches and I'll just cross it off later if I caught it in the last month, but if not, it's there. Here is a couple days of a event. You can see that I wasn't making a ton of money on those days. They are Monday and Tuesdays. So I just want to say right here, I mentioned about tax. This cash tax, I would put 0.75, and then I put it in parentheses, 0.75. I mentioned how it crosses each other out. So I'm showing that I am collecting it, and I'm showing that I am not calling it income. And again, any credit card tax gets the same. And the fees, the reason I have, the fees mentioned is because Square will charge you a fee for credit card purchases. And that particular day I was charged 95 cents for a total of $28.98 income. And because fees are considered an expense, that's why I put them in parentheses. And that cash deposit that I have right here for $13.24 is a total of the cash and cash tax I collected. $12.49 plus 75 cents equals $13.24. So that day cash deposit would be $13.24. Now, I don't go every day to cash deposit. I take the cash deposits and I add them together. I did it for the whole week. Well, actually, I did it for the month. I took, because this event, it actually went for the last end of March and into the beginning of April. So I did a separate April deposit for cash. And so this one is at the end of March. All right, guys, I think you pretty much get the gist of this. So if you have any questions, let me know. But this is just a little bit of record keeping. And obviously, when you first start your Avon business, you're not going to have anything like this. you're going to have a few things on these sheets. You're just going to have your credit card payments, a campaign order, and possibly any kind of online store order earnings. Maybe returns. Doubtful. You won't experience a return for a little while, probably. If you do, we can walk you through that. Anyway, blessings to you all. See you on the next video.